Akkam jirtu nagaadhaas naguma guyyaadhaa waan mata duree chaaptarii maayikiroo ikoonomiksiituu isiniif qabadheetanii dhufeen jira. Kanaafuu barattoonni keenya egaa ta'ee warra akkasuma fedhii barumsaa ikoonomiksii qabdan viidiyoo kana hordoftan hundumtinuu hanga dhumaatti obsaan akka nu dhaggeeffattanii fi dursa kabajaan isin gaafadha. Chaaptariin har'aa jeneraal equilibrium kan jedhudha fi welfare ikoonomiksiidha. Kanaafuu jeneraal equilibrium jechuun yeroo baay'ee maathemaatikaal ikoonomiksii keessattis baay'inaan yoo barattaniitu ta'e yaadachuun addeessisu the difference between partial equilibrium and the general equilibrium. As we know, partial equilibrium is the one that neglects the way in which changes in one market affects the other market is product or factor market. Neglect godhee kan partially gam tokko duwwaa kan ilaalu yoo ta'u, general equilibrium immoo it is analyzes the way in which the choice of economic agents are coordinated. The choice of economic agents, when we say there are economic agents like householders, firms, and the government, the choice of these all economic agents are coordinated across all product and the factor markets. Under this general equilibrium, we will see the product market and the factor markets. That our agenda under this general equilibrium is one, there is exchange economy, that there is production economy. This coordination of both exchange economy and the production economy gives us the general equilibrium. General equilibrium of the assumption under exchange economy is there are two individual consumers, consumer A and B, two products, product X and Y. There are also production economy. Under production economy, we have two products, product X and Y, two factors of production, labor, and the capital. Now, by coordinating all these economies, two economies, exchange economy and the production economy, this coordination gives together the general equilibrium. Under general equilibrium, the coordination gives us two consumers A and B, two products, product X and Y, and the factors of production, labor, and capital. So in exchange economy, under exchange economy, we have individual A and B, product X and Y, and our assumption is X and Y are fixed, that is X bar and Y bar. It tells us fixed. Based on this, we have to develop the edge words to see the general equilibrium. That edge word, edge box is looking to individuals' world in different their perspectives. The first one is looking the world from individual A's perspective. The second is looking the world from individual B's perspective. Now combine A and B worlds to form edge words. Edge words kana uumuuf moo allamaan isaanii walitti finnaa jechuudha. Kana asumarraati ilaalla. Inni jalqabaa karaa harka bitaa vertical axisiin Y-dha and horizontal axisiin immoo karaa gajjallaa horizontaliin kun X-dha. X fi Y kanarraati N exchange economy keessatti utility inni argatudha. Utility 1, utility 2 argata. B immoo the upper part horizontal in X in kun jira. Under with the hand right side, the right hand side is vertical axis is the B product Y. So by consuming product X and the product Y, individual B gets utility 1, utility 2, and so on. Kanaaf amma han A and B walitti combine yoo goonu immoo han A karaa gajjallaa sarara jiru indifference curve kan jira, kan B immoo karaa mirgaa kan jiru kana combine goone iddoo lamaan isaa walitti yeroo finne ilaallu edge words keessatti edge words box keessatti ilaalla jechuudha. Kanaaf amma A fi B ni combine yeroo wal goonu yookiin immoo intersect wal gochuu danda'u yookiin immoo tangent to each other ta'uu danda'u jechuudha. Kanaan Pareto efficient argachuu dandeenya. Pareto efficient allocation yeroo jennu each individual is on the highest possible individual curve given the indifference curve of the other individuals. And isa tokkos indifference curve qaba, inni tokkos indifference curve qaba. Lamaan isaaniiyyuu highest indifference curve irra kan isaan ittiin ga'anidha. an F and B indifference curve is here walitti finnu at alpha and beta both indifference curve of A and B intersect each other. Now this intersection of both indifference curve does not tell us about the Pareto efficiency of the combination of utility A and utility B. Inefficient Pareto inefficient jedhamee agarsiisa. Maali sababni isaa? Pareto inefficient kan jedhamee fi maalii fi kan jedhu there exists changes in allocation. Ammallee allocation in product X fi product Y from alpha or beta that would make at least one individual better off without making the other individual worse off. Isa tokko worse off otoo hin godhin consumption of A yookiin consumption of B at least increase gochuu danda'a ganaan mallee hafeera. Kanaafuu amma inni gararraatti agarsiifni asitti inefficient jenneerra, asittis inefficient jenneerra. When we move from both sides, we get alpha or gamma, symbolically gamma kan arganna jechuudha. Individual B is B as it jira, individual N as jira. Now gamma is a Pareto efficient point because at this gamma point, the slope of indifference curve for A is equal to the slope of indifference curve for B. Kanafi slope insani wal qixa waan ta'aniif Pareto efficient jedhameetu waamama jechuudha. At point A, at point allocation or allocation gamma, individual A is higher possible indifference curve. B is also highest possible indifference curve irra jiru jechuudha at gamma kanatti. Kanafi at gamma point it is said to be Pareto efficient allocation jedhameetu waamama. Every or individual is at higher indifference curve given the other indifference curve jenneetu fudhannee ilaalla jechuudha. At gammaan kunooti as jira, gammaan kun as jira, gajjallaa isaas immoo sigmaan jira, gararraa isaas jira. All these points, sigma, gamma, and E are Pareto efficient jedhamaniitu waamamu. Now you can connect these Pareto efficient points. Pareto efficient pointota kana connect yeroo walitti goonu laayinii tokko arganna. Isaan kun laayiniin kun maal jedhamaniitu waamamu? Contract curve jedhamaniitu waamamu jechuudha. Joining up these Pareto efficient points yields us the contract curve jedhamaniitu waamamu. Now contract curve is defined as a curve that joins a locus of points of different Pareto efficient points is a contract curve jenne define gochuu ni dandeenya jechuudha. The curve connecting all Pareto efficient allocation, this is a contract curve jenne waamna. Now at each contract curve, this means at sigma, gamma, and this point is there are a marginal rate of substitution. Marginal substitution. Now we are talking about the utility. The utility means it is indifference curve. By indifference curve, it is a combination of two products that gives the same utility on each indifference curve. Indifference curve tokko sarratti the same level of utility can by combining different level of output in indifference curve. Now this indifference curve has its own slopes. That slope is marginal rate of substitution. The marginal rate of substitution is the rate at which one output substitutes for the other output to give the same level of satisfaction in marginal rate of substitution. Marginal rate of substitution A for consumer A, X for Y is equal to marginal rate of substitution for consumer B, X for Y, product X for product Y, slope insani wal qixa jechuudha. At each Pareto efficiency jechaadha. Pareto efficiency tokko ishee irratti isaan kun the same ta'a jechuudha. Kanaaf amma in exchange economy, under the exchange economy, we have marginal rate of substitution A is equal to price of X over price of Y. Inni lammaffaan marginal rate of substitution B immoo is equal to price of X is equal to price of Y. This condition is the marginal utility, that means utility maximizing point. The condition for utility maximizing point is marginal rate of substitution. That means the slope of indifference curve should be equal to the slope of the budget. That means price of X over price of Y is the budget line. That is the slope of budget line should be equal to the slope of indifference curve for A. And again for B, the slope of indifference curve for consumer B should be equal to the slope of the budget line. Price of X over price of Y. Budget line, budget line slope insa slope of indifference curve fana wal qixa ta'uu qaba. Yeroo sana wal qixa ta'uu qabu, it is utility maximizing point jedhama. At that maximizing point, the slope of budget line is equal to the slope of indifference curve. That means the slope of or the line, the budget line should be tangent to marginal rate of substitution. Again, the third one, demand for X is fixed. Demand for Y is also Y slash, that means it is a fixed Y bar, X bar. Sankun wal kita assumption kenya da. Kanan amaga utility A kunoti nuf kennamera, utility B kunoti, utility F, utility B pointi kanarratti tangenti walif ta'aniru. Iddo tangenti ta'an kanatti lamaan isaaniifu commonly price of X over price of Y tangenti ta'etu jira. Common tangent for utility A and the utility B. That is this common tangent means the budget line. Budget line in kun kita lamaan isaanii straight line in kun budget line da. Lamaan isaanii giddu few tangenti ta'etu jira iddo kanatti jechuudha. That point we have three slopes. Slope in sadi argan. Marginal rate of substitution X for Y for consumer A is equal to marginal rate of substitution X for Y for consumer B equal to the slope of the budget line. Kuni market exchange keessatti exchange economy keessatti akka kanatti Pareto efficient jedhameetu waamama jechuudha. Pareto efficient in economic exchange, that in market exchange, there should be one, the marginal rate of substitution for utility for individual, for both individual, should be equal with that of the budget line, the slope of the budget line. Wal qixa ta'uu qaba. Kanaaf iddoo hojjetii asirratti individual A jira, as individual B jira. As graafii kana ilaaluu dandeessu. Individual A fi individual B kana ilaaluu dandeessu. Individual A YA ishee kana karaa bitaa kan jirtu kana sarara magariisaa kana ammountiin isaa kanadha. X immoo kan inni fayyadamu ishee sarara jalaanii kanadha. Hambi immoo X kan inni fayyadamu XB ishee kana irra keessaan sarara diimaa kana. Asii karaa mirgaa immoo sarara magariisaa kana YB ishee jettu kana hanga asiittidha. Kana combine godhanii the point at which the utility for individual A with that of individual B equal to the slope of the budget lining iddoo isaa wal ga'an kana. This is a Pareto efficient jedhameetu waamama jechuudha. Production economy yeroo deebinee dhufnu, in production economy to produce goods and services we have X and Y products. On the other hand, the factors of production that we use to produce product X and the product Y is labor and the capital. Assumption in Kenya kana jechuudha. Kanaan yeroo kaanu now we have edge words. Akkuma sana production edge words. Inni dirama exchange edge words kan nuti fayyadamnu. Inni amma immoo production edge words boxi fayyadamna. Kanaafu by combining two factors of production, we can produce an output. There is a firm producing good Y and a firm producing good X. Product X fi product Y qabna jechuudha. Edge words kanaati perspective karaa lama ilaalle jechuudha. Inni tokko karaa product Y tiin ilaalla, karaa gara biraa immoo product X tiin ilaalla. Product Y ni asiin karaa mirgaatti jira. Product X immoo asiin karaa bitaatti jira. Product X in capital fi labor combine godhee output produce godha. Now by combining this labor and the capital input, the product X for firm is producing the maximum output. The maximum output that a firm can produce, product X can be shown by production possibility curve. Production possibility curve Y1 kana jechuudha. Y not in kunis isuma jira for product X. For product X. For product Y, now for the firm producing good Y combines two inputs, labor and the capital. Inni kun immoo isa diimaa kana jechuudha. X1, X0 kana kan ittiin oomishanidha. So firm produce a good Y that using this production possibility curve. Production possibility curve for product X and for product Y producing firms. Now there is the point at which these production possibility curves are tangent to each other. Tangent to each other, tangent to each other yeroo ta'anitti pointing kun addana jira, as pointing kun is jira. So there is also in through production of X and the Y, the firm may change use of different factors of production, labor and the capital. That is marginal rate of technical substitution X for marginal rate of technical substitution for product Y. Product X is product Y is marginal rate of technical substitution in iddo itti tangenti walitti ta'an kanatti equality ta'ani yookiis maximize godhu. Now by connecting these tangent points of different tangent points to each other, that means the point at which marginal rate of technical substitution for product Y equal to marginal rate of technical substitution for product X. Now when we connect, we get this line. What we call this is a contract curve. You can join up all these Pareto efficient. These points are the point at which they are tangent to each other are said to be Pareto efficient. Now in this case, the marketplace for production economy, we have the costs. That means the ISO costs. That means for wage for labor, and rent for the capital. Relative wage in labor if jira, capital is more interest to kafalama, rent yetun interest rate in capital if in kafalama. One sadi to fulfill the uka. Toko marginal rate of technical substitution. Marginal rate of technical substitution for this production possibility curve should be equal to the slope of ISO cost slope P kanatif. ISO costing kun wage over interest rate dida. The rate at which we can substitute one input for the other input is marginal rate of technical substitution jedhameetu waamama waan ta'eef inni kun wage over interest rate ta'uu qaba inni tokkoffaan. Inni lammaffaan for product Y is immoo marginal rate of technical substitution to produce Y, we have this slope should be equal to the costs of the factors of the production. Now the demand for labor barida, the demand for capital more K barida. Kranu the production possibility curve in Kenya. Pareto efficient in iddoo kamitti argama. Akka tiramsi agarsiise Pareto efficient in kan inni iddoo jiru marginal rate of technical substitution for product Y is equal to marginal rate of technical substitution for product X jenneen. Kanaaf amma production possibility curve kuni generally isa yoggaa fudhannee ilaallu jechuudha. Marginal rate of technical substitution in from this production possibility curve is said to be Pareto efficient allocation if we can produce the maximum output by combining different level of inputs. So marginal rate of technical substitution for product X combining labor and the capital equal to marginal rate of technical substitution for product Y by combining different level of output. That means any point on this production possibility curve is what we call it is Pareto efficient. Any point on this production possibility curve is Pareto efficient, but any point inside this Pareto efficient, inside this Pareto efficient is called Pareto inefficient. Pareto inefficient kan jedhamu line kana keessa line isa argitan magariisa kana resource nuti qabnu hundumtinu hundi isaa hojiirra kan oolle ta'uu isaa agarsiisa. On the line of production possibility irra kan jiru kun immoo resource nuti qabnu hundumti isaa otoo lafatti nafiin hojiirra ooshuu keenya agarsiisa. Pareto efficient jedhameefi kun immoo guutummaa guutuutti hojiirra ooshine waan ta'eef Pareto inefficient jedhameetu waamama jechuudha. Kanafi akka kanaatti fudhatama. Where on the PPC production possibility curve irratti production Y production X in eessatti barbaachisaadha amma efficient kan nuti jennu production economy keessatti akkamittiin argina. Slope of marginal, production possibility curve in change in y over change in x. How many units of y that have to given up in order to produce one more units of x. Amma opportunity cost in kanmarratin ille argina. Production possibility curve y sacrifice gone x immo increase gochuudhaaf hammamidha. Yeroo sana production possibility Pareto efficientiin argamuu danda'ama kan jedhudha. Inni kun immoo marginal rate of product transformation yookiin immoo marginal rate of transformation jedhameetu waamama. Tokko sacrifice goone tokko increase gochuudhaaf jecha. Firms will produce at the point of the production possibility curve at which marginal rate of production transformation is equal to the price of x over price of y. Inni kun amma price of x over price of y inni nuti jennu kun immoo amma immoo iso revenue jedhameetu waamama. The same that means the price of each output that we can maximize. If marginal rate of production transformation is less than the price of product x over price of product y, it tells us to produce more x and less y. Less than price of x over price of y tana produce more of x and less y ta'uu agarsiisa. If marginal rate of production transformation greater than price of x over price of y, inni kunuma produce less of x and produce more of y ta'uu nu agarsiisa. Kana faana wal qabatee marginal rate of substitution x for y amma exchange economy keessatti kan nuti ilaalle marginal rate of substitution x for y, that means it is a utility is equal to the budget line. Budget line in Kenya budget line in Kenya mo price of x over price of y it should be equal to that means this implies not equal marginal rate of substitution x for y equal to the slope of the budget line implies that marginal rate of price transformation product transformation is equal to marginal rate of substitution x for y inni kun implication isaan gammaatti kan nuti ilaalle kana nu agarsiisa result isaa jechuudha. Amma general equilibrium argachuudhaaf the slope of the production possibility curve price of x over price of y, price of product x over price of the product y kan jedhudha. Again at this point, we can draw in the amount of x and y produced. Hangam to x in amma produced dita, y in amma makani ta'u, because the point at which the slope of this isorevenue is tangent to this production possibility curve, isa nuti agarsiisa jechuudha. Kanaafuu inni kun immoo asiin x in kana nu agarsiisa, y in immoo kana nu agarsiisa, the amount of y produced. The amount of x produced in kana, the amount of y produced in mo isa kana. Now at this point, this is recall the Edgeworth box isana from perspective of product y and the perspective of product x. Dirama ilalle turreb Edgeworth box keessatti jechuudha. So this is from the left hand side y bar, from the right hand side is now the bottom is x bar. This is the amount of x and the amount of y that should be produced at the production maximizing point of this point. Now for individual B, this one. Again for individual, this individual A, for individual A is this one. For individual B, as you know, this one. Isa kana y baarii fi x baarii kana nu agarsiisa jechuudha. Individual A immoo kunooti asirraan jira kanadha. Isa kana nutti agarsiisa. Isaan kana combine gochuudhaan marginal rate of substitution x for y immoo it is equal to the slope of the budget line jennee irra diirama jechuudha. Isa kana yaadachuu qabna diirama kan nuti ilaalle jechuudha. Kanaaf amma asitti gajjallaatti kan nuti ilaallu kan utility A, utility B dha. For indifferential for individual or consumer B, indifferential for consumer A, isa kana ilaalleetu jirra. This is the point at which they are tangent to each other. Again, the third one, price of x over price of y, means the budget line is commonly tangent to utility A and the utility B at this point. kanaaf tangent ta'uunsaa kan inni nu agarsiisu. On the other hand, this budget line, utility price of X over price of Y, is also parallel to this price of X over price of Y. Amma price of X price of Y kun production possibility curve iso revenue waan ta'eetii fi straight line kun jira. Again, budget line immoo addana jira. Budget line kun iddoo kanatti jira. There is ISO revenue ton tane amma kun ISO cost da. ISO costing kuni production for wage and that of interest rate. Costing kun asii jira. Asii budget line kun is cost da. Isaan kun waliif parallel line onni kun jechuudha. When two lines are parallel to each other, they have equal slopes. Slope wal qabu. That means price of X over price of Y is equal to price of X over price of Y. This budget line is the slope is equal with that of the ISO cost for producing of goods and services for the production. Walqita waan ta'aniitii fi asittillee walqita utility immoo marginal rate of substitution X for Y, marginal rate of substitution X for Y and S and B. Isa kana faana budget line faana walqita waan ta'eef again this budget line, I mean utility marginal rate of substitution is also equal to this the ISO cost line. Walqita waan ta'aniitii fi dhumarratti inni kun amma marginal rate of substitution equal to marginal rate of production transformation is equal to price of X over price of Y. Inni jedhu kun no mirkaneessa. Marginal rate of substitution in kuni ishee kana utility B fi utility A kana jechaadha. Marginal rate of production transformation ishee jettu kun immoo asitti kani production possibility curve slope isheeti. Price slope price faana walqixa waan ta'eef marginal rate of substitution of fanas walqixa ta'a equal to price of X over price of Y ta'a jechuudha. This is Pareto efficient, that means general equilibrium jedhameetu waamama. For this general equilibrium, there are three conditions that should be fulfilled. The first, akkama curvature raalre, marginal rate of substitution of A equal to marginal rate of substitution of B. Inni kun isa kam nutti agarsiisa kunoota asiiti jecha. Marginal rate of substitution A equal to marginal rate of substitution B equal to price of X over price of Y. Sagajjallaa kardii kana nutti agarsiisa jechuudha. Inni lammaffaan marginal rate of technical substitution labor for capital is equal to marginal rate of technical substitution Y for labor for capital product Y is equal to price of L over price of K is equal to wage over interest rate. Kan jedhu nutti himachuudha. Inni kun immoo marginal rate of technical substitution for producing of output, maximum output production possibility curve keessatti jechuudha. Labor if capital yoggaa waneennu ISO cost faana walqixa slope ISO cost faana jechuudha. Kanaaf amma price of X over price of Y inni kun ISO costiin kun immoo eessadha kunoo isa kana jiru PX over PY isa jennu kanadha. Isa kanaatiin walqixa ta'a. Inni sadaffaan marginal rate of production transformation. That means production transformation of product X and product Y. When we substitute X or Y equal to the budget line equal to marginal rate of substitution X for Y. That means utility inni kun isa kanan agarsiisa. Marginal rate of substitution equal to marginal rate of substitution commonly lamaan isaaniif jechuudha. Equal to price of X over price of Y equal to marginal rate of production transformation inni jedhamu kun immoo iddoo kanatti isa in production possibility curve faana kan walitti nuuf jechuudha. Kun sadan iddoo tokkotti general equilibrium jedhamaniitu waamamu jechuudha. Kabajamtoota barattoota keenya ammallee isa kana irra deebitaniis yoo isiniin galle ta'e irra deebitanii yoo viidiyoo kana dhaggeeffattan yoo isinii galeera ta'es immoo yookiin immoo gaaffii yoo qabaattan illee bifa gaaffiitiin yoo koomentii nu gootan illee deebii achirratti isiniif kennuu hin dandeenya rakkoon qabu. Kan biraan welfare economicsiin walumaa gala welfare economicsiin teeremii gurguddaa lama kan inni qabu. Teeremii gurguddaa lama keessaa inni tokkoffaan if all markets are perfectly competitive, perfectly competitive market means in a perfectly competitive market, firms are price takers, and they are not price makers. This means the price of goods and services is determined by the market forces, demand and the supply, interaction of demand and the supply. Kanan determine the amount TV. Iddoo kanatti Pareto inefficiency hin jiru. Kana jechuun immoo Pareto efficiency jira jedha. Perfectly competitive yoo ta'e, in a perfectly competitive market, there is a Pareto efficient. When there is no perfectly competitive market in miti yookiin immoo imperfect market yoo ta'e immoo Pareto efficiency fiduudhaaf fundamental term of welfare economics inni lammaffaa jechaadha. Fiduudhaaf maal gochuu qabama? The outcome of a competitive market process provides that the economy's initial endowment of resources can be redistributed. Amma resources redistributed kan inni ta'u bifa taxi adda addaa yookiin immoo bifa subsidizationiitiin among agencies yookiin immoo economic agencies warra jennu firms, households, government jenneerra isaan kana gidduu resource reallocationin bifa gibraatiin, bifa excise tax, direct or indirect tax isaa ta'u, kan biraan immoo bira subsidiitiin akka kanaatti yoo godhame Pareto efficiency fiduun ni danda'ama kan jedhudha kan yaanni kenname. Fundamental theory kun jechuudha. Welfare economics akkasitti argamuu ni danda'a kan jedhudha. Kanaafuu har'aaf egaa wanti nuti asirratti ilaallee asmarratti general equilibrium kan jedhu asmarratti innu gaha. Karaa gara biraa immoo chapterii kan biraa qabannee amma dhufnutti waan nu dhaggeeffattaniif kan gammadumaatti guddaa galatoomaa jechuu gara fuulduraatti subscribe gochuun dagatinaan siniin jedha. Har'aaf nu gaa nagaan nuuf tura.